How's it going, everybody? I'm Stella Chung, and this is the Weekly Fix, the show where we round up all the gaming and entertainment headlines you've missed this week. It's been a huge week for Xbox, Rick and Morty, and Best Buy? Kind of. The Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal has been finalized, and we've got everything you need to know about this long-awaited and irksome process. We've also got some details on the next Dragon Ball series, a new Xbox Series S deal, and how physical media is seeing its final days at Best Buy. Rest in peace. Let's get to it. Microsoft has announced its $69 billion purchase of Activision Blizzard, bringing Call of Duty and more into the Xbox fold. Xbox boss Phil Spencer says work has now begun bringing Activision Blizzard games to Game Pass, although he stopped short of name-checking any specific titles. He said, "Today we start the work to bring beloved Activision Blizzard and King franchises to Game Pass and other platforms. We'll share more about when you can expect to play in the coming months. We know you're excited, and we are too." Spencer also delivered a message to existing players of Activision Blizzard games suggesting multi-platform support will continue. He explained, "For the millions of fans who love Activision Blizzard and King games, we want you to know that today is a good day to play. You are the heart and soul of these franchises, and we are honored to have you as part of our community. Whether you play on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, or mobile, you are welcome here and will remain welcome even if Xbox isn't where you play your favorite franchise. Because when everyone plays, we all win. We believe our news today will unlock a world of possibilities for more ways to play." The news brings the very long story of Microsoft's plan to acquire Activision Blizzard to an end. The plan was announced in January 2022, and it took 1 year, 8 months, and 26 days to finalize. It was the UK government's Competitions and Markets Authority, the CMA, that provided the biggest hurdle along the way. In July last year, it announced an investigation into the deal. The CMA moved to block the acquisition on April 26th of this year. Cloud gaming emerged as the main reason for the block. Then, the United States FTC sued to block the deal. Following a 5-day court battle, Xbox finally got a win as the judge ruled in favor of Microsoft. A month later, Microsoft submitted a new deal to the CMA. It restructured to buy a narrower set of rights, which included signing a deal with Ubisoft to sell the cloud streaming rights for all current and new Activision Blizzard PC and console games released over the next 15 years. Then that brings us to today, where Microsoft is now the proud owner of Activision Blizzard, and franchises like Call of Duty, Diablo, and World of Warcraft are all first-party Xbox games. If anything, it's nice to finally have some closure. I feel like we've talked about this acquisition every day here at IGN for almost 2 years. Now, aside from this acquisition, one of the other hottest topics in video games is the future of physical media. Both Microsoft and Sony are making moves to suggest digital media will eventually win out. The huge Xbox leak of last month revealed Microsoft's alleged plan to launch a digital-only mid-generation console refresh of both the Xbox Series X and S. This week, Sony announced a mid-gen refresh of the PlayStation 5 with a Blu-ray disc drive accessory that can be attached to the all-digital model. Now that Ubisoft has snapped up the cloud gaming rights for all Activision Blizzard games, the French mega publisher has issued a blog post featuring an interview with Chris Early, Ubisoft's SVP, or Strategic Partnerships and Business Development, who was asked, "What do you think of the future of physical media in games?" Here's the answer. There's a collector edition market. There's the aspect of gifting physical items and allowing access for people to be able to easily purchase a game in a store and gift them to their friends or family. Some people will always want to own the physical disc. I just don't think it's going away. Do I think physical sales might get lower over time? Sure. But will it ever completely go away? I don't think so. Early's answer suggests discs will become a niche for collectors as the dominance of digital continues to grow. Reacting to the PS5 Slim announcement, analysts suggest that this trend will accelerate. Daniel Ahmad, director of research and insights at Nico Partners, tweeted to say, "This is more indicative of Sony's current thinking around its approach for next gen." It could be that Sony is laying the groundwork for the PlayStation 6, which might not include any model with a disc drive. The Blu-ray disc drive accessory sold separately might be the new standard going forward. And finally today, in the midst of Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard and Ubisoft buying the streaming rights to their games, someone out there just purchased a brand new Wii U. Yeah, Nintendo's ill-fated last-gen console, which launched in 2012 and then was discontinued in 2017. The news was shared on X by Matt Piscatella, executive director and video game industry analyst at Sarcana, formerly NPD. He wrote, "One new Wii U was sold in the US in September, first time a new Wii U sold since May 2022. He added a bonus tidbit that last time a new Vita unit sold was in November 2021 when 3 were purchased. 3 whole Vitas. Is any of this meaningful? No. Sales fun facts that do not matter. But they're definitely fun facts. We have so many questions about this Wii U. So I want to know, first off, who bought it? Where did they buy it? How much did they pay for it? And did they pick up any games for it? Piscatella and Circana are sources of all sorts of interesting information on video game sales. They release the monthly and yearly reports of the top 20 best-selling games, but they also have very specific details, like the fact that the last new Super Nintendo was apparently sold in 2008.
Microsoft has announced a starter bundle for the Xbox Series S, due out October 31st for $300. It's available to pre-order now at the Microsoft Store. The starter bundle includes an Xbox Series S 512GB console, 3-month Xbox Game Pass Ultimate membership, and a wireless controller. The Series S on its own normally costs $300. Microsoft says 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate represents a $50 value. Microsoft will be keen to ship as many Xbox Series consoles as possible during the crucial holiday quarter, and is still playing catch-up with Sony's PlayStation 5. In July, Microsoft reported an Xbox hardware year-over-year revenue decline of 13%. That's a worry for Xbox as the Series X and S head toward their 3-year anniversary next month. Last month's massive Xbox leak revealed that Microsoft sees the expected starting period of next-gen consoles to be 2028. Before that, though, it's apparently planning a mid-generation refresh of the Series X and S during August and October 2024, respectively. Meanwhile, Microsoft is reportedly set to seal its $69 billion buyout of Activision Blizzard at the end of this week, which would bring the makers of Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush in-house. That could very well be our top story on tomorrow's Daily Fix. Moving on, the heavily criticized Nintendo Switch version of Mortal Kombat 1 has its first post-launch patch, which claims to address a number of issues with the game. The Switch version became the butt of many internet jokes for its low-quality visuals, prompting NetherRealm development chief Ed Boon to promise to improve the quality of the game. IGN's review of the current-gen version returned an 8 out of 10, but our review of the Switch version, ported by Shiver Entertainment and Saber Interactive, came back with a 3 out of 10. We said the load times are egregious, and there are numerous bugs plaguing both graphics and gameplay, making for a poor quality port of a great game that's all around aggravating to play. The patch for Mortal Kombat 1 on Switch addresses some of these issues while adding the MIA Season 1 of Invasions mode to the game. The Switch version launched with only the tutorial stage of Invasions, prompting complaints from players. The patch notes also include gameplay balance changes, leaderboard fixes, visual improvements, and general bug fixes. Given this patch was just released overnight, fans are still making sense of whether or not it makes any meaningful difference. In a thread on the Nintendo Switch subreddit, first impressions suggest a more stable frame rate. Boon has teased a Mortal Kombat 1 reveal of some sort for this weekend's New York Comic-Con, although he did rule out a gameplay reveal trailer for upcoming DLC character Omni-Man. And finally today, Insomniac Games took its Spider-Man 2 research so seriously it actually studied real lizards before creating the villain for the upcoming sequel. Senior art director Jacinda Chu revealed the team wanted to make every detail of Lizard accurate to his real-life counterparts. Ironically, however, Insomniac found an exact replication, or reptilication, wouldn't quite work. Why? Not enough slime. Chu said, "We looked at a lot of lizard skin for research. The thing about lizards in real life, their skin's actually really dry. Most people who looked at our lizard kept initially saying he's not slimy enough. But I think it's a nod to what people expect a lizard to look like. He's got that lizard skin, but it's actually much shinier than what you'd see on a real lizard. We gave him spikes too. For design references, I tried to look at real-life lizards that looked a bit more prehistoric because some lizards can look kind of soft and cute. I was looking at spikier, more snake-like, more aggressive references. I've actually been playing Spider-Man 2 for 2 weeks now."
Overwatch 2 is in hot water again over, you guessed it, microtransactions. Yesterday, Blizzard released Season 7 of Overwatch with a new battle pass, skins, and cosmetic bundles. Blizzard decided to release Diablo for character skins for certain heroes, and those were locked behind a $40 bundle. The Lilith skin for Moira and the Inaria skin for Pharah are both included in this expensive Ultimate Battle Pass bundle with no other way to earn them. The Ultimate Battle Pass bundle contains the Premium Battle Pass, 20 Battle Pass tier skips, 2,000 Overwatch coins, 3 Diablo crossover skins, a highlight intro, and 2 new sprays. So while you get about $20 back in that bundle as in-game Overwatch coins, it's still disappointing that the only way you can obtain the Moira and Pharah skins are through this expensive bundle. In a thread on the Overwatch subreddit, Yayo Protocol accused Blizzard of being greedy. The user commented, "Saw the new Moira and Pharah skin in the trailer and was excited for the first time in a long time. Some of the best looking and only skins for them in a long time, and it's of course locked behind a payware bundle. Not even available for Premium Battle Pass, but the goddamn Ultimate that they want money for." There have been a lot more players who have been expressing their distaste for the Battle Pass offerings versus the skin bundle in the shop. Ex-user @ChrisStar800 posted a skin that featured prominently in Blizzard's advertising for their new season of Overwatch 2 is exclusive to a $40 bundle. It's not even around the Battle Pass. The previous season's Ultimate Battle Pass bundle was raised to $40 due to including the new PvE missions cost, but the first 5 seasons before that were $30. Now with Season 7, the pricing seems to be set at $40 without the added PvE mission bundle. While skins and cosmetic items like this are extremely optional in a free-to-play game, there should be some understanding between the community and the developers in maintaining trust with the players and not raising prices without proper reasoning. Realistically speaking, Blizzard can do whatever the hell it wants, and frequently does, but you can't blame players for being a little annoyed that players use to promote the new season itself can only be purchased with real money. If the appeal of buying the Battle Pass is playing the game to unlock cool stuff in-game, using stuff that can't be acquired that way seems a little misleading, or at the absolute very least, poorly messaged. The Overwatch community has voiced its frustrations about microtransactions in the past, especially surrounding the underwhelming PvE missions that came with a $40 price tag, and based on this latest debacle, it doesn't seem like Blizzard is listening. Things might be frustrating for people playing Activision Blizzard's games, but the people making them are dealing with something even more annoying than microtransactions. James Corden. Yeah, I know, you heard that right. Via Windows Central, Corden appeared at an all-hands meeting with Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick, where they detailed the state of the massive game publisher employees. James Corden is a strange pick, to be sure. For starters, it's totally unclear what, if any, connection he has to video games. And to put it lightly, he isn't as well loved as he used to be in Hollywood. I won't detail all the stories about him here, but a quick Google search will give you what you're looking for. Corden and Kotick are apparently friends, according to Polygon. The two attended the chic, all-white party hosted by Fnatic CEO Michael Rubin. During the all-hands, Corden reportedly asked Kotick about Activision Blizzard's company culture, to which Kotick called it, quote, magic. Keep in mind, the company settled a sexual harassment and discrimination lawsuit in 2021, and still has its lawsuit with the state of California pending. Anyway, enough about James Corden. Kotick dropped some interesting tidbits during the meeting, including referencing Elon Musk's Neuralink as a way to make, quote, more visceral games. You might be able to play games without any type of physical controller. Kotick also mentioned a possible return of the Guitar Hero franchise under Microsoft, but we haven't heard much movement around that series. Microsoft's planned acquisition of Activision Blizzard is going full steam ahead after clearing the last few legal hurdles, possibly closing the deal this month. Bobby Kotick's future as part of Activision Blizzard is up in the air, but he is reportedly expected to leave the company after the deal is done. You know, maybe he and Corden can go race their yachts in the ocean, far, far away from everyone else. And some Nintendo news for today. A new firmware update for the Switch is available right now, but you're not getting much aside from some standard stability updates. And also, you can't use Japanese slang words for testicles. Via ex-user Oatmeal Dome, there are a few new words added to the system's banned list, including, quote, various censor-evading slang for testicles in Japanese. Nuts. Oh, and the word thought is banned in all languages. It's just about time for a break, but when we come back, we're taking a closer look into a major retirement announcement from Bethesda, the newest season of Rick and Morty, and what's up with that new Dragon Ball anime. Stay tuned. And we're back. Ever since the end of the Dragon Ball Super anime, we've seen 2 movies, a few games, and countless manga panels that have moved the story past the Tournament of Power arc. Well, the wait is over, and we finally have a first look on the newest entry in Goku's story, Dragon Ball Daima. But first, let's take a look at the newest voices of Rick and Morty and why we're seeing the beginning of the end of physical media at Best Buy. Take it away.
Now that the Season 7 premiere of Rick and Morty has finally aired, we now know who's voicing the titular characters of the long-running Adult Swim series. Actors Ian Cardone and Harry Belden are the new voices of Rick and Morty, respectively. Now, they may not be household names yet, but with the highly publicized ousting of co-creator Justin Roiland, all eyes are definitely on these two, with fans already drawing comparisons between their performances and Roiland's. Now, some have welcomed both Ian and Harry's take on the characters, but others are pointing out that the almost improvisational tone of Justin Roiland's vocal performances seems to be lacking. Now, this is just the first episode, so I think we all need to just wait to pass any further judgment. Now, there's plenty Rick and Morty to come. Adult Swim previously announced that Season 8 is already written, with Season 9 currently in the works, so expect to be hearing a lot more of both Ian Cardone and Harry Belden as Rick and Morty. Now that these two have been announced, I personally would love to talk to them about the entire process of being cast in secret to take over performing such iconic characters and how they approached the role once they got it. And I'm sure interviews with these two will be popping up in the near future. And while all eyes and ears are on Rick and Morty's new voice actors, another important character from the series got recast. Mr. Poopy Butthole is now voiced by actor John Allen. Now, speaking to The Hollywood Reporter, showrunner Scott Marder discussed the reasoning behind recasting the role as opposed to seeing if one of the new Rick and Morty voice actors could do it, saying, quote, "We are happy for them to take on more of these smaller characters. In the time course we were in, it was a lot to ask either of them to fully take on Poopy as well because it's the most expanded role Poopy has had." I'm sorry, I'm gonna be saying Poopy a lot in this quote, everyone. Anyways, we ultimately found another guy, John Allen, who came in late in the game. He took pressure off of Ian and Harry, who were both working on Poopy, but it felt like too much for either of them to be doing him in an episode of the show that they had to completely redo. Can't believe I said Poopy so many times in a quote so naturally. Well, so it sounds like we'll be seeing a lot more Poopy on screen in season 7. So what do you think of the new voice actors of Rick and Morty? Their new voices, you like it, you love it, you hate it? Let us know in the comment section down below. Now, in other news, looks like the original voice of the genie is returning in Disney's 100th anniversary short, Once Upon a Studio. And I know you're probably wondering how Disney plans to resurrect the whimsical vocals of the late Robin Williams without using AI technology. Well, with a little movie magic and a look back through archival recordings, Disney managed to find some unused voice lines from the famed comedian. Now, the newly unearthed voice lines are being used with the permission of Robin Williams' estate, so we'll all get to see and hear the genie return and warm our hearts in this new short from the House of Mouse. Guilt-free! Now, the short is a combination of CGI and traditional animation combined with live action, Who Framed Roger Rabbit style. Now, the short brings together over 500 different Disney characters, from Peter Pan to Moana and beyond. Infinity and beyond, that's what they say, yeah. Anyways, Once Upon a Studio is available right now on Disney+. Now, this last one is a bit of a weird one. Director Matthew Vaughn talked about why he walked away from 2006's X-Men: The Last Stand at this year's New York Comic Con. The reason behind him walking away, well, he didn't want to be a part of tricking Halle Berry into appearing in the movie with a fake script. Yeah. According to The Hollywood Reporter, he said, quote, "I went into one of the executives' offices and I saw an X3 script and I immediately knew it was a lot fatter. I was like, what the hell is this draft?" He went, "Don't worry about it." And I'm like, no, I'm the director. I'm worrying about this draft. He wouldn't tell me, so I grabbed it literally. It was like a crazy moment. Opened the first page and it said, "Africa, storm, kids dying of no water. She creates a thunderstorm and saves all the children." So according to Vaughn, the executive wanted to use that to fool Halle Berry into signing up for the film, and once she did, they'd throw away that particular draft. Now, that tactic really didn't sit right with the director, as tricking an Oscar-winning actress into a role just sounds pretty scummy. So he dipped on the entire project. But he did go on to direct X-Men First Class years later, where I'm sure there was no tomfoolery of the sort in acquiring on-camera talent.
Don't pick up that retro CD tower from that yard sale because you won't need it anymore. You also probably never did. According to reports, retail giant Best Buy is phasing out sales of all physical media in its stores and online in early 2024. As an unkind reminder, 2024 is a mere 80 days away. However, reports are mixed as to what this actually entails. Collider, citing the Digital Bits, has reported that all physical media, including DVDs, Blu-rays, and games, will be phased out, but Gizmodo has reported that this would only affect DVDs and Blu-ray discs. Best Buy has only officially confirmed the end of the sale of DVDs, and to everyone's knowledge, as of now, will still sell Blu-rays and games. Speaking to Variety, a Best Buy rep said, quote, "To state the obvious, the way we watch movies and TV shows is much different today than it was decades ago. Making this change gives us more space and opportunity to bring customers new and innovative tech for them to explore, discover, and enjoy." It's not just movie fans who are afraid of a future of being left out in the cold looking for physical media. The games industry has been getting consumers used to the idea of digital-only platforms for years now, and Limited Run Games CEO Josh Fairhurst seems to think the writing's on the wall, saying, Quote, I would expect to see this trend continue in 2024. I've heard rumblings that Walmart is dropping physical Xbox games soon, and I have to imagine further cuts to physical gaming sections will be made as we get deeper into next year. Again, I have to point out the only actual confirmation from Best Buy is in regard to ceasing DVD sales, which does make sense given that the medium is 26 years old at this point. Ancient by tech standards. So while the fate of games and other physical media is still not totally official, it looks grim for disc lovers out there. Many people, such as myself, enjoy collecting steelbooks for games and movies and sharing physical copies of games with friends. And that may become harder to do as streaming and digital copy sales gain even stronger footing in the market. Best Buy will continue to sell disc-based media through the holiday 2023 season at least, after which would leave Walmart, Amazon, and Target as the top US-based retailers stocking DVDs. Not affected by this trend? Redbox Disc Rental Services, which is still the #1 purveyor of movies for dads in grocery store kiosks. One of the biggest announcements to come out of New York Comic Con this year was the all-new Dragon Ball series premiering next year, officially titled Dragon Ball Daima. But the premise may be a divisive one for fans. The details are still a mystery, but basically the entire principal cast is turned back into children. And while it promises to be an original story, quote, never told in Dragon Ball, it's reminiscent of Dragon Ball GT, in which Goku turned back into a kid. This time around, the same goes for Vegeta, Bulma, Krillin, Piccolo, and so on. Unlike GT, which was produced with minimal involvement from series creator Akira Toriyama, Dragon Ball Daima seems to be very much his baby. In a letter to fans shared during the New York Comic Con Dragon Ball panel, he wrote, quote, I came up with the story and settings as well as a lot of the designs. I'm actually putting a lot more into this than usual. This news is bittersweet for fans of Dragon Ball Super. The anime concluded in 2018, but the manga has kept going, with Toriyama on writing duties. The two most recent movies have touched on some of the events of the manga, but fans have been hoping the anime would eventually pick up again, and from the looks of things, Daima isn't exactly granting their wish. Anyway, the new show follows Goku and his pint-sized friends as they head to an unknown and mysterious world to try and fix things, and Toriyama promises a grand adventure with intense action, as well as different than usual battles that are cute and powerful. As for the name, Daima is a made-up word that loosely translates to evil in English. The series is set to premiere sometime next fall. More Dragon Ball is never bad, but in a literal sense, this new show isn't exactly super. What do you think about it? Are you curious about this new direction, or is it too Muppet Babies? Have a shouting match in the comments.
We're starting off Monday with some big news. Pete Hines, one of the key executives at Bethesda Softworks, just announced his retirement. Bethesda's official X account posted the news in a statement dedicated to Hines' work at the company. The post said his contributions have been integral in building Bethesda and its family of studios into the world-class organization that it is today. His vision helped push us forward, and his hard work inspired us. Hines also posted on X his own personal statement saying, I am retiring and will begin an exciting new chapter of my life, exploring interests and passions, donating my time where I can, and taking more time to enjoy life. This is certainly not goodbye by any means. My love of Bethesda and its people have never wavered, and I will never stop being a part of this incredible community we have grown. Hines also mentioned that this wasn't an easy decision, but that after his 24 years at Bethesda, and especially after the incredible launch of Starfield, he felt the time was right. Hines joined Bethesda Softworks in 1999, where he was the Senior Vice President of Global Marketing and Communications for over 23 years before he was promoted to Head of Global Publishing last October. Back in 2020, Hines expressed his support for Microsoft planning to acquire Bethesda's parent company, ZeniMax Studios, saying they were the perfect fit for Bethesda and would allow their studio to make even better games going forward. Hines did a lot for Bethesda, so his decision to retire makes sense. Hopefully, he's able to get some nice vacation and quality time with his family following this decision.
I'm Stella Chung, and that was your weekly fix. We'll be back here next Saturday with more of the biggest gaming and entertainment news. See you then.